Everybody, welcome back to yet another episode of Entertainment Evolved. This is going to be an Evolved review, and I am here in the studio, and I am joined by none other than original founding co-host of this program. Welcome back to the show, man, Caleb Stovall.
What's going on, man? How's it going? It's been too long.
It has been too long. As a matter of fact, man, next time you're in Augusta, I got to get you here in the studio. It really is incredible.
I know. I see that. I'm like, what in the world?
We did night one last night. I brought out none other than the Evolved Review Championship because
Yes.
it felt fitting to have that on the table for the program. Um, yeah, man. So we did night one last night. I got it rendered today. It's actually, I think, in there uploading right now, so it should go up tonight and be available in the morning, and then this I should have it up by like tomorrow night. So
Yeah.
should get these up pretty quickly. Um, yeah, man. What a time! But yeah, you definitely got to come check out the studio next time you're in town.
I,
It's tremendous.
I definitely do, man. I do want to see the studio. I've been seeing some of the videos you've been posting and stuff like that with it. So it looks really cool. I do need to check it out whenever I get free time on my hand.
I feel you, man. I'm actually I'm like 3 episodes. We've been reviewing Mandalorian.
Uh-huh.
I'm 3 episodes, no, 2 episodes behind on that. But by the time I get to do the next review, it's going to be this Thursday, so I'll be three behind by then. So probably going to cover 3 episodes all at
Oh
one time.
wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to get caught up, man. I kind of been doing a whole lot. I went on the Tavern Notice Board, which is Oz's podcast today, and we reviewed the D&D movie. On Wednesday, I'm going with Superhero Homies. We're going to do some comic news. My entire life is just work and podcasting at this point.
But speaking of which, you should definitely have me on then when you review the Power Rangers movie.
You mean the reunion thing that they're doing on
Yes.
Netflix? Man, yeah, yeah. We let's do it. Fuck it.
All right.
Because I'm gonna tell you now, I don't have high hopes for that, but maybe it'll surprise me.
I mean, I don't have high hopes for it either, but I don't care at the same time. Like, I've never watched Power Rangers to be like, oh my God, I'm expecting something amazing. I mean,
True,
Power
true.
Rangers is just awesome, period.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, my only concern with it is like, there's a reason that neither, because they shot that while Tommy was still alive, and neither him nor Kimberly wanted to return for it. So something is up there, but that's neither here nor there, man. Like I said, we covered WrestleMania Night One last night. What was your thoughts on it before we get into Night Two?
That Rhea Ripley and Charlotte is the match of the year.
I could see it. It was definitely. I think it was the best match of the night.
Yeah.
I think the best storytelling was in the main. Um, but match of the year for me is Danielson MJF.
Well, okay, so I'll give you that, but which I knew you were gonna say that, but no, dude, like I watched it and I just look, Rhea Ripley to me she is a badass. She's just a walking badass, and she is clearly a star, and clearly the people just love her. And look, you can put Judgment Day on her, you can call her a bad guy, you can call her all of this, but it doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, the people just like her because she's more identifiable in my opinion. Plus, also she comes out to motionless in white, which just makes it a triple package for me. like,
Well,
uh,
they almost had the double turn, like the Brett and Austin kind of situation, because Charlotte was billed as the babyface going into that match, but
all right,
but nobody wanted
I
Charlotte
think
to win.
I think you and me can I think you and me can agree on this. Charlotte has not now, nor has she ever been, even if they try to put her as one, has ever been a babyface.
Correct.
I don't care what anyone says. She has never, no one has ever cheered for her. No one cheers for Charlotte. Now, is she
Charlotte,
good?
Roman,
Yeah.
and Rollins, all three of them can't be a babyface ever. Don't give a fuck.
Who was it? Who was that
Charlotte,
again?
Roman, and Rollins, none of them can be a babyface, in my opinion.
Seth Rollins?
Yeah, I think Rollins, no matter what he's in, I think he's the heel. I think more people wanted Logan to win in that match, and Logan was healing it up, and he's an outsider.
Really? Because I felt the opposite in that match. Which I mean, I guess we could go with that one. Like I felt the opposite. I felt like many people wanted Seth to win.
I
I
don't
guess.
I don't know, man. If he was that over, they wouldn't have had to pipe in that crowd noise at the beginning for his entrance.
Oh well, yeah, I guess so.
Because that was god awful. Because the way they did it is, the conductor came out there and he did the thing, and then you heard the very faint from the crowd doing the oh, and then you heard the piped in noise come in, and it was super loud, and it was just
Oh,
like, come
well,
on, guys, this is terrible. Like,
yeah.
it,
Before we go on with any of the matches, I got to say this though. That might have been one of the most incredible stage productions I've ever seen from WrestleMania.
it may have been the best WrestleMania set ever.
Yes.
I,
And you know what? If you had taken that set and taken WrestleMania 21's card, it'd have been
oh
the
my,
perfect WrestleMania.
this WrestleMania had a lot to live up to because 21 was WrestleMania Goes Hollywood, the original.
Well, I don't think, you can I don't think you should look at it like that because I was just like with this card there's no way. But I will say this. Going into this, I was like, nah, this is a lackluster card and everything. And a lot of it did, but you know, for the most part, I gotta say though, when it's WrestleMania, people bring it. They bring their A game. And so I mean, I guess that's all you can ask for. But no, that was my favorite match of WrestleMania was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. Yes, I did love Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I even love the El Generico references that I kept hearing.
Man, the fact that that's the first time the tag titles have ever been in the main event at Mania, truly historic. I was so glad they made that the main.
I know that was good because what I was wondering was I was like, because to be honest, dude, yes, the crowd they got back up for this match, but after the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte match, they were dead. They
Well,
were like, we just spent so much energy on that match.
that's why they sent out they did the whole Pat McAfee and the Miz nonsense in between is to give that crowd a reset. It was very smart.
Oh yes, very.
However, my thing is like you had Pat McAfee in the building and you didn't have him on commentary because I gotta say both nights commentary was dreadful in my opinion. I think the commentary was worse on night one than it was on night two. On night two it wasn't anything special. But it didn't add or take away. But I think on night one the commentary was just atrocious. I cannot think of a single call that I liked that stuck out to me as something like really good or made me feel something. Not a single call from night one.
I mean, I didn't think that their call was bad. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like, why was it so terrible? I guess.
Well, I mean, to me, like Corey Graves is just kind of repeating what's happening in front of them, and Michael Cole's just doing Michael Cole shit. Like I've never thought Michael Cole was any good at commentary unless he's sitting next to Pat McAfee. That's it. I've hated Michael Cole's commentary for 20 years. So that's me. And then they brought Titus O'Neil out and added him to the table, and he's awful. I mean,
Oh, so yeah, that one I was like, what?
I
Why is this happening?
that's my thing, man. It's like you could have put anybody against the Miz. You had Pat McAfee in the building. Stick him on the commentary table.
That was my thing because here was the thing. They were trying to go for that shock and awe like they did at the Royal Rumble. And when they tried that right after you just saw a match like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, crowd was like, don't care.
I'm no fan of Charlotte, but I got to tell you, that match was incredible. It really was incredible.
I mean, dude, Charlotte brings it every time. And She, just like her father, both of them can get physical
Oh
in the
yeah,
ring.
yeah,
I mean, they can just like go all out. They can really get physical, if you know what I mean.
yeah. Agreed, agreed.
Like they are not afraid to bruise up a little bit and take bumps that they both should not be taking. There was one point in that match where Rhea Ripley goes to do the German suplex and Charlotte flips up, and I thought, oh dear God.
She
Like,
landed on her face, dude.
I know, but it's like she intended that.
I know it was. Well, no, I think she intended to probably hit knees and arms at the same time, fully rotate, but she didn't get it, and she landed directly on her face.
And then you saw the shot that like the ending of the match she took in the post. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you trying to kill yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of really good like passing of the torch moments in night one. I gotta say, night one, the Cena and Theory match should not have opened the show. It was too slow. But I mean, after Cena sprinted down that ramp, his old ass was gassed. I mean, that ramp is like half a mile long.
I noticed that. And you know something, again, there's going to be those smart marks out there that are doing Austin Theory is bored. But listen, remember me. I remember training with him at WWA 4. And so that was just really cool for me to see him on WrestleMania in the ring with John Cena, especially when AR Fox used to give him so much shit for looking like John Cena.
Yeah, and it was a cool rite of passage too because Cena's first WrestleMania ever was in the very first match for the United States title against Big Show, and
Yes, it was.
so yeah, this was kind of him passing the torch to Theory. Very cool. Not an like outstanding match. I actually would have opened the show. I think with the 4-way tag match. I thought it over delivered because I thought it was just going to be a clusterfuck waste of time, but it actually was quite good.
The 4-way tag
Tag match last
women's
night.
or
Last night, not no. We'll get to
oh
night two in a second. I'm getting all my positive things I have to say right now. Yeah.
okay.
I,
So
I
yeah.
I thought the
But
worst match night one was the 6 women tag,
yes.
where Becky Lynch had the nerve to drop the line "Legends like us." I'm like, no, that's not you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess not yet, but she is. I mean, she's pretty damn popular.
I think she was. I don't. I think ever since she came back, man, I think she's been awful. She looks sick. Like she's really skinny now. She doesn't look like a wrestler anymore. Like I don't know. I just, you know me. I was never a big Becky Lynch person, but I was. I understood why she was really over at that point where she was like the most over person on the roster.
Yes.
But I feel like after she came back, man, I just think she's like so skinny now, and like she just doesn't look athletic, and I don't think she performs as well. But hey,
Well,
maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the one that feels that way.
see, I'll, I could debate that with you on any day, but what I'll really say was terrible, and I respect them. I respect what they've done in the business, Lita and Trish, but neither one of them should have been in the ring last night because they were not good.
I think it was the worst match on the card, but I think
Yes,
I think Lita and Trish both did better than a lot of people did on night two.
I'm sure, but I will say though that when look, the first few matches, I was just kind of like, this feels like SummerSlam or Backlash to me, kind of thing. Like this just doesn't feel like Mania to me. But then when it got to Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, I was like, okay, that's a WrestleMania match. That's a pro wrestling match. And then Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos, which, by the way, we need to acknowledge everyone can say, this tag team is good, this tag team is good. There's been one tag team now for almost a decade that has been consistent on a nightly basis, and that is the Usos, and they deserve props.
I agree with that. They
Like,
did throw 39 super kicks in that match.
I mean, they always do.
Yeah, that I hate that shit. Other than that, though, that's my only complaint about the Usos. Like,
Right.
do something else. Like the bastardization of the super kick is terrible, and I hate it. It's one of the worst things in wrestling.
I mean, yeah, I'll admit that. But but like, I love it when they're just acting like badasses, basically. You
I
know?
agree, and both of them are tremendous from a story aspect as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. They know what to do in the ring. First of all, if you're in that Samoan family, the Anoa'i family, or hope I didn't butcher that name, but like, if you're in that family, you are just born for greatness in wrestling.
there's only one famous Samoan who's ever made it that's not part of that family.
Yeah. And he's your favorite wrestler of all time,
That's it. That's it.
or
That's the
one of them.
truth. Yeah, I mean it's Joe. Joe's my favorite. I have a lot of like people right around there that they're close, but at the end of the day, man, it's Joe. Um, that being said, let's get into night two, man. Let's talk about the atrocities against the art of pro wrestling that we just witnessed. I dude, night one, I was like, I looked at the card at the end of the night. I said I gave it an 8.25. I said, hey, this blew my expectations out of the water. Night two, I look at the card and I'm like, there's a lot of stuff on here I really don't want to see, but given how good night one was, night two, I'm gonna give it a chance. Dude, this was Vince-a-mania. This was like every WrestleMania from the last decade that Vince booked.
Yeah, I'll admit that. I mean, even going into it, I was like, well, really, there's only three matches I'm want to see on this, uh, which was the Hell in a Cell match, the main event, and I can't remember the other one. Maybe it wasn't, but
The
uh,
Hell in a Cell?
do what?
The Hell in a Cell?
Oh, I already said the Hell in a
Oh, okay.
Cell. Um, I can't remember.
Oscar and Bianca was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I like them, but dude, okay. Unpopular opinion. I have never been a fan of Bianca Belair that much. All right. I think she's good at times. Do I think that she is the best on the fucking roster to have her be this dominant champion like she is? No. I'm sorry. I don't.
That's a
I,
hot take, man. I get it. She's not for
I
everybody.
she look, okay. Again, I think that she is good, but I think that there are 15 other women on the roster right now that are better than her.
Yeah, I can't get on board with that. See, in my opinion, I think the best four women in the company right now were in the two title matches.
Well,
And I think that it honestly is Asuka, Bianca, Charlotte, and Rhea.
mm,
I don't think that Asuka and Bianca lived up to Rhea and Charlotte because those two went out there and just had a barn burner match that was, I mean, it was the probably match of WrestleMania just from an in ring contest point of
yes.
view. But I thought Bianca and Asuka really killed it. I don't think they had as much of a build up or a story really going into their match. But I've always loved Bianca. To me, Sasha and Bianca was the match of the WrestleMania when they faced each other.
Well, now see, I agree with that. Like, I enjoyed that match. But ever since then, I'm like, she's not really had any matches where I've just been like, oh man, I'm so blown away by her every time.
That's true.
That's me.
Well, WWE lost the best women's wrestler in the world, so in my opinion, it's still Sasha. I mean, to me,
Oh well, yeah. I mean, clearly, but I I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm a big Rhea Ripley fan right now, and I have been for a long time. So I think she's the best women's wrestler.
I could see that standpoint. I mean, I can't argue that. Like, I would say that it's probably the two of them neck and neck
But
because
but I'll say this, that like, yes, I agree that that Asuka and Bianca did deliver. No, I like, I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just saying I've just never been a fan of Bianca Belair that much. She's just not for me, I guess.
yeah.
Um but I'll say this too about pro wrestling, or well, not pro wrestling, but like, well, yeah, actually a lot of this in pro wrestling, that which is why like it makes these cards so lackluster at times. When you actually see the final card, like when you see it done, and then it's like a little bit better than you thought it would be. But and I'm not saying that the matches are bad, but what I don't like nowadays is I don't like what leads into the matches. I just don't like these stories that we come up with at times. I'm just like, can we not just have like a fight? Like, do we really have to put soap opera spins on it all the time? Like, we can just have a fight.
The
Like,
the the bloodline story is the best storyline in wrestling in the last 10 years,
no, I agree.
and it's
That
not a
good.
it's not a tall order. Like there haven't been that many good stories.
No, I agree. The bloodline story has been tremendous and continues to be the best storyline. I agree. But that's a good storyline.
Yeah,
The other shit, though, like the Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio stuff, the let me put it this way, the oh god, there was a match tonight. Like, okay, Finn Balor and Edge, for that matter, like Balor's a part of Judgment Day and Edge is, trying to get revenge. I'm like, can we just not have just Finn Balor versus Edge? Like, at times, like, I'm just like, and like Rhea Ripley's, whole story with Charlotte, like, I was just like, I don't like that she's in Judgment Day. Like, she should not be a part of anything. She is her own woman. I don't know. It's stuff like that. And same thing with AEW, like, yeah, MJF and Bryan Danielson, they had a hell of a match at Revolution. It was one of the best matches I've seen in a long time, but I hated the story going into it. Like, I was just like, what, you know, or maybe not that one, but there's just been other ones and stuff like that where I'm just
Every
like,
AEW storyline ever, just about. I mean,
yeah, where it's like the matches and the pay-per-view turns out to be pretty good. It's the stuff leading into it, though,
yeah,
that makes it to where it's like, okay, they might have been good, but there's not as big a buildup as there could have been.
right. And there's no permanence to anything anymore. Not in AEW, not in WWE. Like, you feud with somebody for a little while, usually between pay per views, and then all of that is forgotten, and you do a new thing. It's like none of it ever happened.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you have to produce 52 weeks of television every single year.
Well, they used to do a pretty good job with it in WCW and the Attitude Era WWE. It always felt like a living thing. Like Undertaker and Kane could go and have their own storylines, and then when they would come, then they would feud again.
Yes.
And or like DDP and like Randy Savage back in the day. You
Well,
know
then there's only one storyline that they've done, which did headline WrestleMania: Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
because they've done had their separate storylines, but they always end up coming back together.
I mean, and here's the thing, man. Let's ask this question: Is
Uh-huh.
Kevin Owens the new Mr. WrestleMania? Has he taken Shawn's place as Mr. WrestleMania at this point? Because the man is having an absolute career high right now. He wrestled Stone Cold Steve Austin in what's probably his final match in Texas in the main event last year. This
Yeah,
year,
he not only wrestled him like because I thought it might have been like, oh, he's gonna do a quick stutter and then they're gonna get out
no,
of
they had
there.
a match.
Instead, Stone Cold's taking a freaking suplex on the concrete. Like when I saw that, I literally like my jaw dropped. I went, "What? Austin is a badass still."
Oh, to this day, dude. And then we got that. We got and then this year he main events. Only time the tag title's ever been defended. Wins the tag belts in the main event of Mania with his best friend. I mean, Owens is having a. You know that after Owens got back to the back last year after wrestling Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin,
Yes.
he was like, it's only downhill from here, you know. And then this year, where is he? He's in the main event with his best friend, winning the tag titles.
Well, then you know something. You got to say the same thing almost about Sami Zayn
Yeah,
because Sami Zayn had one of the most entertaining matches of that WrestleMania, which was that Johnny Knoxville match. I don't care if you're a wrestling purist or whatnot. That match was entertaining as hell. And Sami Zayn showed, to me, he and Kevin Owens showed at this WrestleMania why they're two of the best wrestlers in the world because they literally can do it all.
yeah,
Sami Zayn can go from a complete comedy goofball to an annoying character that you just hate and that you can't stand and you think is a little pipsqueak to then he's, believable in underdog and stuff like that to, just like he could do it all. And then the same thing with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens for the longest time, those two have just been the best, in my opinion. They've been the top. It for me over the past few decades. It's gone it's gone for me. Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, El Generico, Kevin Owens.
yeah. I could see that. I could see that 100%.
Those have been the most consistent, I guess.
And the funny thing to me is about a year and a half, 2 years ago, around the time where like AEW was like really starting to pick people up, there was all these rumors, people talking about that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were gonna not sign, and that they were gonna go over to AEW. Can you imagine what they would have been doing right now? They would have probably been on that Ring of Honor pay per view in that clusterfuck ladder match on Friday or whatever night it was.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that.
But I'm just like, what a terrible decision it would have been for them to go.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that. Now there were still some bright spots for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I will say that.
Oh,
But
I don't disagree. I just know that they would have been criminally underused, like everybody they brought over really has been, honestly.
yeah, but if you're brand new in AEW, then you actually got a shot.
That's true. That's true.
So I mean, I guess it works both ways. But I don't know. Like that's just what they meant. But the way this WrestleMania started off with what I was the most anticipated matchup of the whole Mania, as far as I'm concerned, Lesnar versus Amos.
Good God, man. I mean, it was. Fortunately, they kept it very short.
Yeah.
Lesnar just beats him. Um, Man, I don't know why they keep this guy around. Like, what is it that they're doing with Amos that, like, what do they think is the long term goal with him?
I don't know.
He's never going to be at a point where he can wrestle a match.
Nope.
Clearly.
Nope.
Never going to be there. So,
Nope.
like, release him because he can't fucking wrestle.
No.
So, and maybe they will. Maybe that'll be it. Maybe they'll just write him off now that Lesnar beat him. So, who knows?
I don't know. Let me put it this way. I cannot tell you anything about this match because I did not pay attention to it.
Well, there wasn't a whole lot to see, to be honest with you.
No.
So we went from this match, and we went directly into the clusterfuck we're gonna get all the other women in the company on the show, fatal four way match.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you anything about this match because it was terrible.
Yeah, me as well. But I want to say this as well because we were talking about the 6-woman tag match as well
Yeah.
from night one. Okay, I want to say this. I know that everyone talks about Triple H being in charge or whatnot, or I don't know what the hell's going on these days. But I want to say this: when Triple H was bringing back people and he brought back Dakota Kai, and some of the internet was chatting about that. And I was the only one sitting. Was I the only one sitting there saying the obvious that I was like, good, you brought back someone no one gave a fuck about in the first place.
Yeah.
Like he brought back Dakota Kai and put her in damage control like anybody gave a fuck about her in the first place. I was like, nobody cared about her. She was a nobody even knew she exists.
Right.
I'm sorry, but they didn't. I'm not even saying that she's bad, but I'm just saying, like when she showed up at SummerSlam, I was like, who?
Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I think damage control is not good either. I mean, it's just
It's not, and I'm sitting there just like Bailey proved that she's such a good heel. Why are we still not running with that?
I'm not really sure what the idea is of them having like I guess like the idea is they want this like intricate kind of women's roster. They want a deep roster where if people get injured, they can pull somebody up, so on and so forth. But I don't know, man. I don't think anybody other than maybe Liv Morgan has the it factor in this match in this fatal four way tag team match, and she wasn't going to have the opportunity to show that off here. I mean, you even got Ronda Rousey, whose second run. I mean, they should cut her as soon as her contract's over too. Her second run is abysmal, dude. Look where she's at on the card.
I agree. I'm sitting there just like I and again I go back to the biggest botch in WrestleMania history, in my opinion, which was it should have been Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
But and yes, Lynch should have beat her, and she should have beat her with the armbar. But
Agreed.
but hey, but no, I agree with you. I couldn't tell you anything about this match either. But I do love Liv Morgan.
Agreed. So the internet has been pretty big on this triple threat match with Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Gunther. What do you think about this one?
These guys just went out there and beat the hell out of each other.
That's kind of what they were predicting, like they were building it up to be. I think this might be my favorite Sheamus match. Not that that's a tall order.
No, but dude, I mean, I'm not a fan of the name Gunther, but Walter.
Yes.
I love Walter.
Agreed.
Walter because he is believable. He is a guy who I'm just like, okay, that guy's like Samoa Joe, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He's tremendous.
I love, and okay, if they're gonna call him Gunther, I don't know why, but okay, if you're gonna do that, then I like it. I would have preferred it just be Gunther versus Drew McIntyre at Mania,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I think this worked out okay. I mean, I'm glad that they protected Gunther. I'm glad that he went over. I thought the right person went over, and that's really all I cared about with this match. I do think that there were some hard hits in it, and they did, really go at it. But at the end of the day, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre are not going anywhere. Like they are kind of those stuck in the mid card forever type people. I mean, ever since Drew McIntyre won the title in front of literally nobody, he has been on a downhill course.
Yeah, I mean but that's unfortunate because nobody could help that.
Well, it's there's the booking for one, and then also they, the silly things they, used to have him do with the sword. They
Oh
did the
my
whole thing
God,
where
I
he
know.
cut the ropes, and it looked so fake because the rope didn't even break at the right time, and all this other shit.
Yeah, and I kept saying this. I was just like, y'all, again, this is a guy who is just a walking badass.
Yeah.
He's a guy who looks like, and here's the thing, Drew McIntyre, he could be one of the worst wrestlers, but there ain't gonna be no one to tell him that because he'll kill you. That like that's what I'm when I look at him, I'm like, he looks like that type of guy. Why won't you just let him be that guy? He was that guy on the independents.
Yeah.
He would just go out there and it would be like, look, you can think what of it, but he's gonna kill you. And that's what he did. And I was like, I don't understand why we can't just let him be that. It's like when they want to push someone as a baby face, they it's like they have to act like a goofball.
Right.
Like that's somehow relatable to everyone, which I'm sitting there like, and that's another thing I want to bring up about WWE. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, I go back to this, right? They pushed in that match Charlotte as the baby face, which is never a good idea. And Rhea Ripley was the heel. And yeah, I mean, they might have done a double turn or whatnot, but I'm sitting, this has always been my problem with WWE logic and booking in this instant. Why is it that the fans clearly who are making the most noise for this person, you want to push that person as the heel, but then these other people you want to push as the baby face that we don't want to cheer for?
Right.
It's like when Kevin Owens came in, I was just like when he first came in, and I was like, y'all are pushing him as a heel, but clearly nobody wants him to be a heel.
Yeah.
Like what? So why are we trying? It's like they will do that with everyone, and I'm like I just don't understand that, but that's just me, you know.
Yeah. We've talked about this a little bit already. What did you think about the Bianca and Asuka match? Did you see Asuka having any chance of winning here?
Oh yeah, I mean, I thought she had a chance of winning. I didn't know who was gonna win this matchup. I mean, they could have had Asuka win again, or they could have had Bianca, but clearly they want to show Bianca as still a dominant champion, which I mean, that's cool. I look, I guess I'm old and bitter or something, but the whole entrance with the kids, I was like, oh god. Sorry, I can't get I can't get behind it because I understand we have to have these tremendous entrances for Mania or these special entrances that make a statement at times, and I get it. But at the same time, realize one thing, even in your entrance, that the whole point of you coming down there is you're about to be in a fight. You're about to defend your title, So when you're coming down there and flipping your hair and skipping like that, I'm like, oh, like just go. No,
See, I don't mind it actually. I don't mind it at all. I didn't mind the entrance here. It didn't bother me. So
I don't know. That's just me. Like Asuka, when she came out, like I was just like, okay, that woman looks like she's coming to kill somebody.
have we flipped roles here, Stovall? Are you the crotchety old man now?
I might be.
Oh, maybe I don't listen to Cornette anymore. I don't spend as much time in the car. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I stopped listening to Cornette, and
Well, I don't listen to Cornette either. I can't do that.
I used to listen to him pretty often, but now I'm just like, I don't care. I don't even care enough.
I don't
Um,
know. Look. I don't. Okay, it's just my only problem is when what I just can't stand with half of every interview I see in WWE done. Whether it's a shoot interview or a promo interview or whatnot. what I cannot stand is someone constantly going, "Oh, it's my dream to be here. I'm so thankful to be here. I'm one of the WWE universe and blah blah blah. I've been a fan." Okay, I don't give a fuck. Stone Cold Steve Austin is the biggest baby face of all time. He never once did one of those types of interviews. He still has never done one of those types of interviews.
I don't think anybody that I ever could say has made it has ever done one of those types of interviews. I mean, maybe John Cena, but fucking Hulk Hogan never did one of those interviews. The Rock never did one of those interviews. Roman Reigns never did one of those interviews. So, you know.
Do you see my point?
No, I do. Yeah, it's a bitch move. It is.
It is. It's a Vince move, and I get it. And that's just one of the things that immediately takes me out of everything. Like even if it's a big build up type match, I'm just like, stop with that whole thing because you think that it's relatable to the audience. Hey, you know who's not living their dreams? The other 5 million people that you're talking to when we have to go to our jobs that we don't want to go to.
Yeah, that's true.
And John Cena used to do that when he was like, I'm all for the kids, I'm all for special needs. Then he goes home and you see footage of him on Total Divas in a mansion with 15 cars in the driveway.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm like, really? Like,
yeah, when Cena did his little entrance with those kids, man, somebody on Twitter was like, "Oh, look, the Angel of Death himself."
you know what would have been even better though, and you know this, even you would have marked out for this one, is if he would have come out and just done the Peacemaker dance.
You know, we actually were talking about that. Ace was here watching it with me, and I was like, "Nah, man, Shawn Legacy's got that shit on lock." And he was like, "You don't think John Cena has more of a right to it?" And I was like, "No." Not in WWE.
But no, look, but in all seriousness though, the match was good. I did like it. Was it as good though as Charlotte and Rhea Ripley? No. No, not even close. But I wasn't trying to compare the two, to be honest.
Speaking of Shawn, I don't want to derail us too much here, but you see he's debuting for Noah in 8 days or in 5 days on the 8th.
That's awesome for him. That's incredible. Hey, you know who had one of his first matches?
I do know that. Yeah, I am familiar. I am familiar. Yeah, he actually dropped in.
I'm proud of it, but
he actually dropped in for a interview not too long ago.
I saw that.
Yeah, it was good times. But yeah,
nice.
he's actually leaving in a couple of hours as of when we're recording this to go to Japan. So
I'm guessing he was there in California for Mania.
I don't think so. I think he's in Augusta. I think he's leaving. I think he's flying out of Augusta.
Oh,
in
okay.
the morning. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So that being said, man, let's talk about this Hell in a Cell. Edge and Finn Balor as the Demon. They said we were going to get a Brood entrance. We fucking didn't.
No, all we got was it just said Brood Edge.
Yeah, and he came out in this weird mask thing, and then it transitioned into his regular entrance, and he walked to the ring.
I didn't understand that. I'll admit that the mask thing, I was like, what? I didn't get that. But I will say this. I marked out because that song that they played was Slayer.
It was. Yeah.
And that was where I was just like, okay, that's not the Brood, but I don't care.
Yeah, I recognized that it was Slayer, but I hated it because it wasn't the Brood, and I was like, this is dumb. This whole match, man, everything about it. I loved seeing Finn Balor do the Demon entrance at Mania, right? Like, it was incredible, but like, this whole match just felt, I don't know, it just didn't work. It just didn't. It wasn't firing on all cylinders. I felt like both men were kind of off. I don't. There wasn't any real emotion into the match to me. Obviously they had to wrap it up faster because Finn got injured and he was bleeding from his head. And so they did call it early, but I don't know, man. I just didn't think that this was other
I
than
was
the entrance.
wondering. I was wondering about that. I was like, oh shit! Did he actually like hurt himself? Like,
When Edge threw the ladder,
yeah,
he put his hands up, but you could see the ladder actually. I guess it hit him harder than he thought, and
yeah,
it actually knocked his head. And I mean, after that, dude, it was bad because the camera wouldn't show it. They panned the camera away, and the doctors came out and I guess like
yeah.
taped him up. But there was like a pool of blood after he got up on the mat.
And here's what I did notice: the crowd, they started to boo at first, but then they were like, "Whoa, wait a minute, he might actually be hurt." Like,
Yeah,
so then they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, he might actually have a concussion." He might have had a concussion after that. I don't know, but yeah, no, it didn't work. I first of all, I don't. The only time the Hell in a Cell has ever worked at Mania was Triple H and Undertaker.
I mean,
But
I gotta say though, I was very happy to see the real Cell back
yes, I will
and
say
not that
that.
red piece of dog shit.
Yes, I do agree with that. What I thought though was I was just like, this should just be a false count anywhere, or just a no holds barred match.
Yeah,
Like, I think to me that would have been better. They could have camouflaged a lot of stuff, because here they tried to get too choreographed with this shit. They
I
really
agree.
did. And that little coup de grace, from the top of the cell, where there was literally a board standing out there clearly showing this is where he's going to jump off. There has never been that board in history of Hell in a Cell.
And they made this one taller too, so he could stand there. Because this one was tall, dude. The structure was huge.
Well, this has been the Hell in a Cell for the ever since 2007 or 6.
Well, you mean,
When
well, yeah, but other than the red one, the fucking terrible
Yeah,
red
other
one.
than the red one, but this has been the size of the Hell in a Cell, and really actually it was made this size so that they could fit the Big Show in the Hell in a Cell originally.
Yeah, and also so that they would stop throwing people off of it, probably.
That was probably another thing. They were just like, yeah, we can't do this all the
If
time.
you fall off of this one, you're dead. So
Yeah, so like, but yeah, when I saw the board sticking there, I was like, oh, come on, y'all. I thought this could have been a show stealing type of match, and it didn't live up to it.
it
It just
wasn't bad. You know what I mean? It just didn't click. It just
Yeah,
wasn't like the. It was just off, man. It just
I,
wasn't great.
because I thought the same thing. I was like, this isn't bad, but it isn't as good as I thought it would be.
Agreed. Yeah, and you could tell that them having to end this match early, they really were trying to scrounge for time. And they had the same trick they pulled night one. They were going to have a little Miz segment where he gets beat up, and they bring out Shane McMahon, and it gets a huge reaction, which I
Oh
popped
my!
for it.
I'll be honest. I was like, what?
Yeah,
I did not expect to hear. Here comes the money.
no, and he was in great shape. He
Yeah.
was. Uh, and then, damn it, man! I hope that it's not anything too crazy. But I mean, 10 seconds into the match, he either messed up his. It looked like a knee or an ankle.
Oh yeah. To be honest, I couldn't tell that much, but I
No,
was like,
it happened so fast.
I mean, he is what in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah,
So I mean, he and he took worse bumps than his dad.
yeah.
Vince never took those types of bumps, and
What's
Vince took some scary bumps too.
apparently Triple H said during the post-show press conference that Shane tore his quad. That's fucking hilarious because his dad did the same thing at Mania that one year. At least he only tore the one, because Vince tore both of them.
Oh, you mean the Royal Rumble?
Oh, it was the Rumble. You're right. Yeah, yeah, good
Yeah,
call.
where he comes out because he's so furious about the damn ending to the match, and he tears both his quads, and he's like trying to be the integrity, but he can't stand up.
I still think it was hilarious that they just had Bobby Lashley just come out for no reason.
Yeah, I didn't understand any of that.
Yeah,
I look. Anytime I see the Miz on WWE TV, I just him and Seth Rollins to me should be a tag team, and they should just call them the Tools.
they were hoping that this segment was going to buy them some time, but then it didn't. It got cut short.
Yeah,
Props to the referee for calling the audible here and making sure that all like that Snoop went in there and just like hit him and did the people's elbow or whatever.
yeah. Now that I will say, dude, I don't care what anyone says. I love me some Snoop Dogg.
Watching him hit the ropes is hilarious because he has no idea how.
It was. Oh, speaking of hilarious, by the way, there was a moment in the Charlotte and Rhea Ripley match, real quick, where Charlotte reverses the German suplex and takes Rhea Ripley, and you just hear Rhea Ripley just go, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, yep, I remember that. Dude,
What?
during that Logan Paul entrance, when he fucking did the whole harness thing, I was like, yeah, he's never seen Dark Side of the Ring because I damn sure wouldn't let them strap me into anything.
Oh well. Oh, so that was what you were talking about
Yeah,
when you posted that. I was like, "What is he talking about?"
yeah,
And then,
that entrance, dude.
oh,
Yeah,
well, I mean, yeah, but that was under, that was under Vince Russo and that stuff.
I don't give a fuck.
But
The only way that I would get in that thing is I need to see y'all send Otis down to the ring in it and back about 10 times, and then I'll get in it.
well, I don't think even an expert climbing can make that happen.
That's true. Oh man, let's talk about this main event. Let's talk about this main event before we wrap this up.
All right, let's do it because this is a big buildup too.
Dude, and the thing is, like, with the Hell in a Cell being cut short, the Miz segment being cut short, dude, I swear there was like 25 minutes of no wrestling.
Oh my God, dude, I said, is it just me or is both of these entrances taking 20 minutes long?
Well, I mean, before the entrances ever came, like they just kept showing all this random backstage shit and like
Yeah.
build up, and then like Snicker commercials and just dead air.
Oh, let me make one mention of that too before we go on. And this will be from the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, and then there was a couple of other times they did this. All right. They showed these shots of fans in Glasgow or in Canada or in places, and they were watch parties, right? And I put these in quotation marks because bullshit. All right. They showed right after Rhea Ripley won the title. They were like, "This is in Glasgow, her home country, and it's 2 a.m. in the morning." That was right outside of SoFi Stadium where there was sunlight.
Yep.
They tried to do the whole, okay, so I work master control during the World Cup and during big well, actually, no, during the World Cup. Let's just put it this way. During the World Cup, they would show shots of people at bars, or they would show these huge watch parties of fans going nuts every time their team would score a goal. Team USA, they'd show shots of kids actually at school watching it because it was on during that time. And so that was what WWE was trying to replicate, and it was sad and pathetic.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. Yes, I definitely sound like a crotchety old man on that one. I don't care. All right. You try to bullshit me with that type of shit, I'm gonna call you out on it.
Yeah, agreed.
That
Man,
was stupid.
so I actually, getting back to the main, I actually really loved both of these entrances, man. I got to tell you, I actually really enjoyed both entrances.
I did enjoy it, but it felt like forever.
They were long, dude. They had to restart Cody's song. Like, it was, you know. But I thought they were both good entrances. And honestly, man, the match itself, I'm not a Roman fan, but I thought that the match itself, before the finish, was by far the match of the night for night two. Like, it wasn't even close. This thing blew it out of the water, and the crowd was in the palm of their hands the entire time.
Yes, I agree completely. These two, they tore the house down. Before we continue, though, I got to mention something about the ring announcing. Okay?
Yeah.
Why is it in WWE that all of the ring announcers sound like they're trying out for a hardcore metal band?
They really do these days.
All right. Why that woman who does the ring announcing? I'm sorry. She sucks.
Yeah, agreed.
Or in her case, sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what the hell are you doing? But neither here nor there. But no, the match itself, dude, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was like, I don't know which way this is going to go now. Like, this is crazy. And I thought, all right, for sure, this is going to be Cody's moment. It's going to happen. They're setting this up. And, then we had basically, you know what? Cody said he wanted to honor his father. Well, guess what? We got a dusty finish.
Well, we didn't get a dusty finish. I wish we had.
I thought this was a dusty finish.
Well, the only way it would have been a dusty finish is they would have restarted the match, which they didn't.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess so.
I was hoping that. I was like, when Reigns got the pin, I was like, please let them do a dusty finish. Like, WWE doesn't really do dusty finishes anymore, but I'm like, please, for the love of God, just this one time, maybe make it happen right now. And then, like, it just kept going, and I was like, God damn it. And I just got up and left. I was like, I fucking hate this. Like, the finish ruins the whole thing because it was such a stellar match. The selling, the storytelling, the emotion, the way that they actually were performing these spots and everything. I mean, yes, you could tell it was your typical super over choreographed like WWE main event, which is the only kind of match that like Roman or Cena can really work. It was that style, but like, man, still, when you look at it, it's like it was an incredible match that they had the crowd in their hand the whole time, and then this fucking dog shit finish.
And Paul Heyman with his facial expressions on the outside, my God, he is a master.
I love the one where like it looks like Cody's gonna win, and they pan over to him, and he's up against the barricade, just like this. He looked like Mr. Burns from fucking The Simpsons.
I go back to my favorite one of all time, which was actually at Mania, but it was when he was managing Lesnar, and it was that terrible Dean Ambrose match, but Ambrose pulls out the chainsaw, and Heyman's looking around the corner like this, and he pulls out the chainsaw, and Heyman just goes. Like his eyes just opened up so big, and I just died laughing. Heyman, he keeps the spirit of Bobby the Brain Heenan and Jim Cornette alive in managing.
He really does. He's tremendous, and I don't know what they're gonna do without him when he retires, because it's not like they have other managers. It's not like there's anybody in training to be on his level.
No, there's no one that can be on his level. Remember when they did the whole is Heyman gonna backstab Roman and go with Lesnar and shit, and they did the whole Roman has fired him basically.
Yeah.
You remember the interview that he did? He looked like he hadn't shaven in 7 days and everything like that. He was like, my tribal chief, I beg you, take me back. Like, I'm just like, you are just a master. You are brilliant. You're just so damn good. And he's always cutting a promo, by the way. Have you ever noticed that? You ask him a simple question, and he sounds like he's cutting a Heyman promo.
Yeah,
It's
agreed.
it's insane. But
I gotta
no,
say, Cody Rhodes is the only person I've ever seen break him on the mic. That was a great segment.
that's true. It was. It was great. I mean, the build up for this match was actually really good. I was very surprised
They
going
just
into it.
they just
And
botched the landing. I mean, you know.
so yeah, the match itself was great. The ending, I was like, really? It's just a regular cheap finish?
I'm sure they have a plan, but I'm sure it sucks. And I only watch WWE like once a year now, so I'm not gonna get to see that shit unless they're gonna do it at WrestleMania 40. So
You know, I made the joke with a coworker of mine today. I was like, you know, they could let Roman keep it, and you know, The Rock could come back and challenge him 2 years from now for Mania.
ugh, garbage, garbage. I don't wanna. I don't wanna do it.
Yeah, but dude, I look, I all right. You can say what you want to about Roman, but as far as when he comes out there, man, dude, he's a star. When he walks to that ring, he just has that presence about him. And when he's in the ring, I mean, is he the best wrestler in the world? I don't know what that means anymore. So I'm just like, dude, the dude's a walking badass. He really is. And I have loved dude, remember this. Everyone wanted him to go heel. They wanted him to stop being, you know, that white meat babyface type Hulk Hogan character. And they wanted that. So guess what? WWE was like, all right, we'll give it to you. And so he's taken it and he's run with it. And it's been some of the best television they've done in years.
I was one of those people like that wanted him to go heel, and I do think his heel work is his only good work. Like I think him trying to be a babyface, I don't think he was remotely ever good at it.
No,
He was terrible. So like, yeah, I mean, obviously him being a heel is way better because he's just a naturally not like he's just a naturally like dislikable human being, which is
yeah,
fine. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is botched. Like you can say whatever you want. Like people on the internet can back and forth all day about it. It's bad booking. I don't care what their plan is. It's not going to equal what they could have had here. The moment they could have created here, the crowd reaction they could have created here. They could have had Roman pull some bullshit and get the belt back tomorrow. But
yeah.
they could have put it on Cody. I really do think that they want to do some stupid arbitrary nonsense and have him get over the 1,000 day mark as the champion just to put it out there. And it's absolutely silly because no one's going to remember or care about that. That's not a moment. That's not a thing that's tangible to most people. It's for a record book that isn't even a real record book.
It's for record stats that at the end of the day, what do they really mean kind of thing.
Nothing.
Like
I mean,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter how many times you've won the title. Like it doesn't matter. It's a work. Like
yeah, exactly.
you can do it for appearances, okay, but like look, I get it. It's the same thing they did with the New Day. It's like, oh well, then we beat Demolition, and the very next day we lost the damn titles.
Right.
So it's
Exactly.
like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And here's the thing: those record stats that they always talk about, no one planned that shit.
Right. Yeah.
It's like no one planned for Demolition back in the day to go on a 2-year run as the tag team champions. No one planned for Bruno Sammartino to go on as a 7-year run as WWE champion.
Even the streak was not planned.
The streak was not
They
planned. And
didn't.
the Goldberg streak wasn't planned.
They didn't even figure. Well, some of Goldberg's streak was planned, but they didn't even start to do the Undertaker streak until they got to like 11 or 12, and then someone was just like, "Hey, you know, Taker's never lost at Mania," and people were like, "Huh? Well, fuck," you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
So
exactly. It's like people think like and like Ric Flair, like no one planned for him to have all those title reigns. That's just how the booking works. You know?
the the fucking yeah. Did you watch the Hall of Fame?
I watched some of it.
Rick's induction speech for Great Muta is fucking hilarious. He barely
Oh,
talks about the Great Muta at all, though.
I know. That's why I was like, what the hell? Like, he mostly talked about himself and other people.
And a bunch of Japanese names he couldn't pronounce. I was like, that's not a real person.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I
anyway,
was like,
man.
I
Uh,
was like, if anyone should have inducted him, it should have been Sting.
yeah, and even Rick said that. But I'm assuming Tony was not going to let that happen. And knowing WWE, they probably didn't even ask.
Not unless they would have gotten something out of it,
Right.
which they could have done.
True. Well, man, before we score this one and wrap it up, you got anything else about night two?
Not really. I mean, I enjoyed the main event, except the ending. But other than that, I didn't have much high expectations for it. Bianca and Belair, I thought was the second best match. Oh my god, Bianca Belair and Asuka were was the match of was the other match that was great on night two. But not a lot of takeaways from night two, but definitely night one was the better WrestleMania. Again, I still maintain that if you take this year's WrestleMania set and you put WrestleMania 21 on it, it would be the perfect event.
Yeah.
But, that's not what we get. Like I said, I believe that there are better ways to get to the stories that we want to get to or the matches we get to rather. But, to each his own, I guess. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know who's injured, who they got planned for this and that, But with this Cody thing, I was like, so we built all this up and, we created this moment that looked like the crowd was going to get it. And then we just gave it with this cheap finish. I didn't even care if Roman won, but why'd they have to do it like that?
It was just garbage, man. Like Roman winning it all to me is a terrible booking. Like I know that I don't. It doesn't matter what they have planned. Like I know it's going to be bad. I would first off for me personally, fuck them because I'm not going to watch again until Mania next year anyway, right? So I'm not going to see whatever they have planned. But I just know it's going to be fucking garbage, which is why you don't catch me watching this shit. So, here we
Well,
are.
again, to me, the best match of Mania was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte.
I
The
mean,
second best match was Owens
yeah,
Zayn against the Usos.
night one was incredible.
Yes.
So, what would
Night
you
one was great.
what would you give night two on a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, a 4.
4. Gee. Dude, I think I'm right there with you, man. I think it's about a 4.
A 4. It did not live up to a WrestleMania type event, and that's my thing. Too, like when I looked at that stadium, I looked at the production set, and I'm just like, and this card just does not live up to that. It just doesn't. Now there were matches that were great, like I said, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, amazing. Owens and Zayn, Usos, amazing, but that was it.
Well, we've just got this thing now where the whole them having 2 nights of Mania, and it's like they just want to stick everybody on it. Like they want everybody to get their WrestleMania moment. And WrestleMania wasn't about that. WrestleMania used to be the showcase of the immortals. It was the people who had busted their asses and really showed out got to be on Mania.
Yes, that was how it used to be, and that was why like not everyone was going to get on Mania because you were only going to get the best on there.
Right.
And that's not how it is anymore. We have to give everyone a payday. We have to keep everyone happy. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Just put on the damn show. Like, but hey, it's WWE for you. You know, they feel as though they have to go big or go home. With everything. But I don't know. It just didn't feel like WrestleMania to me. It also again comes down to the fact of, dude, you have 52 weeks of television that you have to do every single year. Not only that, you have 3 hours on Monday night and you have 2 hours on Friday night. By the time you get to Mania, you have literally done every single match you could possibly do.
Right.
By the time you get to Mania, it's like okay, Roman Reigns, we see Roman Reigns literally every single week.
Right.
Whereas back in the day, dude, Hulk Hogan, you didn't see that much.
Right.
Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, you didn't really see them that much. Like, yes, you saw them cut promos almost every single week, but
They
did you
weren't having
actually
matches
see
and
them
shit.
do
Yeah.
what?
They were not out there having a match every week and shit.
Exactly. But every single week, Roman Reigns is having a match. Every single week, this person's having a match. Every single week, the title's on the line. Every single week, a random thing. And it's like, if everything happens every single week, by the time you get to that big event, nobody cares.
Yeah, you've done everything. So
And that's my thing. I'm like, I like that whole, like everything that I saw on Mania, I'm like, I literally see on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown.
right. Yeah, agreed.
That's just
Other than the
me.
production value, that's it. Yeah.
Exactly. The production value, you put that little spin on it, cool. But again, I'll say this. The Rhea Ripley Charlotte, amazing. Sami Zayn, Owens, Usos, amazing. Bianca Belair and Asuka, great. And Cody Rhodes and Reigns was great, other than the finish. And that was it for me. But it was still it was better than I thought it was going to be. But still was not great.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But it's almost funny, like, I thought about this when I watched one of the Manias back, the Hoosier Dome Mania, WrestleMania. I want to say, good Lord, I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's the one where, we all said it should have been Hogan versus Flair, and instead it ended up being Macho Man versus Flair and Hogan versus Sid and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, those had some great matches. And it's always like, it's funny that like the Manias that aren't supposed to like should be another way always have some of the best matches, and the Manias that are actually booked right don't live up to the hype.
They did though at one point in time, man. I think
At one time.
yeah, from like I think from like the maybe 99 2000 up till maybe I think maybe 2006, you
Yeah.
had the roster was so deep and
Yeah.
talented during those years that even the mid card folks were really entertaining. um
Well, there was nowhere else to wrestle, so you would have to have a deep roster.
Well, not only that, there was nowhere else to wrestle, but a lot. You had so many people that were still having their skills honed on the indies and being taught like properly how to wrestle and things
Yeah.
like that, and like psychology and storytelling and shit. Whereas now you have WWE is mostly recruiting people who have never had a match. And the main reason that they're doing that is because most of the people that they're trying to get off of the indie circuit are trying to wrestle like Kenny Omega, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So, there's all of that.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
that
But
is that is that is a whole different story, and yeah, it's late, so we're gonna wrap this up before we go on that tantrum. Uh,
yeah,
but dude, that absolutely, I'm so glad to have you back on the show. To talk about some pro wrestling,
yeah,
and
man.
like I said, dude, next time you're in Augusta, you gotta come check out the studio. We'll do a live episode in here. So,
I definitely will have to check it out. I look forward to it, man.
all right, dude. Well, in that case, thank you for joining me here on the program, and this has been an Evolved Review.